Hello friends, welcome back to another session with me Sanyukta Saxena. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher and today's session we'll be learning another Zentangle original. The pattern is called BB, capital BB. Pattern is again very simple to draw, just like any other Zentangle pattern. Resembles something like a machinery part or spare, or you can also call it like a stack of books or something stacked up. At times if you are hungry you may also feel like it looks like a seek on which some cottage cheese or pieces of meat has been put. So it's open to your own interpretation, just like any Zentangle tile is. So let us first learn how is the pattern drawn, and then we shall draw a tile together just as we do in all our sessions, using the pattern BB and a few more tangles to go along, right? So let's get started. So BB is a pattern which starts with this stack, this rectangle box, right? And then we go on building on it, each attached to each other, at times of the same width, at times you can differ the width. You can also maneuver it up and down like this, or you can keep it at the same level. So what I'm drawing is some rectangle boxes, right? They are joined with each other, sharing one side, but in a zigzag fashion, right? You can also draw it in a straight fashion, but they are of different sizes, right? So that's what gives it the character, as if something is stacked up, right? Now if you see it like this, then it looks like a stack of books or something stacked up. And you can go on and on, up, down, you can vary the shape. And generally you draw two lines at the ends like this, as if something is inserted on on a pipe or something like that. So what else do? We generally ink some sections, not all, but we can ink some of the sections like this by adding a highlight, right? So leave a few and ink a few. So inking adds that drama to the tangle. So as such the tangle looks pretty mechanical, but again these sections provide you opportunities to play around with, right? So you can always insert patterns in each of these rectangles or in alternate or a few of the rectangles, right? So just try, experiment. I'll show you few tiles where I have experimented with the pattern, and there are so many other possibilities, so just explore. So this is the basic pattern BB. How do we generally shade it? We shade it on both ends. Those which we have not inked, add some graphite at both ends, and then leave a highlight in the center just like the other ones, and you are done with the shading, right? So if you add a little curl to the lines, then you can also give it a 3D look. For example, I'm saying if you give it a slight curve, something like this, right? Then you can also give it a 3D kind of look by darkening both the sides, right? So just blend from two sides, nothing much. Let the center be white. You don't need to do much with those where you have inked. The highlight is already there. Right? So that's the simple pattern BB. Now let me show you a few examples. I've already posted these tiles on my Insta, so in case you are a follower, you can have a look. This is BB at 4 corners, 4 sides, and paradox and Bronx cheer and some more tangles to go along, right? Just let me zoom a little. Yeah, and this is a very cool tile BB at the 4 sides and some aniso to go along, right? So just given it a very rough look. So this is the teaser that I posted, right? Background is bit organic and then Kiko to go along. This is again a very mechanical tile, looks like some toolkit, right? So BB in the center, some brace and betweed and hollowbock to go along. So this is again an organic touch to BB, stacked up in the center, and some poke root and poke leaves to go along. This is again BB growing on stems, right? So this is a nice exploration. I thought of why not experiment BB on stems. So looking pretty nice, I think. Yeah. So you can explore more. Please experiment. Oh, this is another tile that I had posted. You can see this BB hidden on both sides and how beautiful it looks, right? So pretty open to exploration, tangleations, variations. So let's now get started with our tile for today. And I'm going to be drawing a circle, a rough circle in the center just for my reference, right? So you can call it a string. And now I will first start with some other pattern and then add BB to the tile, right? So I'm going to start with the pattern called drawings. So I'm going to be drawing these S shapes. So this is a bigger apprentice size tile, 4.5 inches. You can also use your normal 3.5 inch tile to draw, right? So this is the pattern, and then from the back of the S shape that I have drawn, I'm going to bring it down almost to the middle of the next S. So these are S shapes, and I'm starting from the back of the S and then coming down to almost middle of the next, right? And then you can come like this here. So that's the pattern drawings. And then I'm going to start with changing. We have already learned these patterns, so in case you are new to it, please refer to my videos, right? So you can see how I am building a chain, taking this circle, pencil circle, as a reference, right? So close lines, building up a chain like thing, the pattern changing, right? This line is almost straight, angle is not much, right? You can also increase this gap. If you want to increase this gap, you can change the angle, increase the angle, and you will have bigger gaps. But I want to keep it a tight chain, right? So I'm creating this kind of enclosed area in between, right? And I will add the pattern BB inside it in a hollowbock fashion, right? So let's see how our tile turns out to be, right? So we have drawn this. We can also add some more hidden ones probably. Like this, yeah, looks more closed, right? So now I'm going to add an inner aura, right? A close aura. I am using my PN here, so feel free to use your O1 or any other nib size you are comfortable with, right? So now I am going to start with the pattern BB. So what I am going to do is just start in a random fashion. So we are starting with the pattern. I am going to more or less keep it in a straight line, not maneuver it too much, although you can draw it in any fashion as I showed you. Right, so closing it here. Again start one here in a hollow block fashion, right? Again close it here, right? Again start one more here, again close it here, again probably start one from here, a hidden one. We are not trying to draw complete BBs here. It actually looks like a tool, right? Again one small one here. You can always draw behind, you need not draw the entire thing. Right, probably a hidden one here, just showing the rectangles hidden somewhere at the back, and the line going like this. Right, so I think that's enough. We can hide one more here under the drawings, would be a nice idea. Yeah, right, so I have drawn. Now first we'll start inking these small sections that are left in our changing. So go slow, and these small sections add a lot to the pattern when they are inked. If they are larger sections, the manner in which you have drawn the changing, then you can also add dots or tipple or something else, you know, since mine are pretty small. So I'm going to ink it. Right, again add one caviar here like this, right? And then I'm also going to be inking these in between sections, right? So I'm going to start inking you can also choose to add tipple or some other pattern inside, but generally spaces between hollow block are inked, and I have drawn this pattern in a hollow block fashion. So I think it will look nice if I ink the background black, right? So take your time, make that effort, go slow, and enjoy your tile turning black from white, and enjoy the drama, right? I'll be back soon. So I'm almost finishing with my inking, just filling up the last section. Small area is left. So you can already see the drama. So I'm not going to ink the in-between sections in BB since outside is already inked, so I'm going to skip that. Otherwise those sections will get lost in the background, right? So now let's proceed to, so I'm going to be joining these to the center just as we do in the pattern drawings. If you are new to the pattern drawings, you can refer to my video. We have already learned these patterns, right? And then you can add some zen to the center line, adding some orbs. There are so many other things that you can do. Please go ahead. Since our focus tangle is something else here, so I'm not going to get too much into the other tangles. So small embellishment to my drawings. So you can see how you can play around with a simple pattern like BB, which looks pretty mechanical as such, but I have also grown it on stems. So just explore more, right? And play around, just adding some boldness to the outer aura. Got one here. Right, so done with our drawing. So the rest of the tile, again, it is up to us. What do we want to do? So I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm just going to draw some lines like these, curved lines, almost at the same distance. Right, and then let's draw rain. So we are revising a couple of patterns here in a single tile. So enjoy, tangle along. So rain is a very simple, one of the beginners pattern, just drawn a line, drawn a zigzag over it, and then inking these sections that are created, right? So we're going to do that throughout. So I am on the last one, added rain to all, The next step in the pattern rain is to add an outer aura, right? So I'm going to be adding an outer aura to all. Close aura like this. Right? So we'll do the same exercise for all to complete the pattern rain. Go slow, take your time, take deep breaths, add a close aura to your rain. Right? So now we have added an aura to all. So again we are left with these sections. Up to you, what do you want to do with it, right? So let's play around. My go-to tangle, Printums. I'm going to be adding some really big ones here, right? So I'm going to have lot of auras. Add real big Printums here, like these, which go on and on. Right? So starting with another one. You can add any other pattern of your choice. Please go ahead. There are a whole lot of patterns that you can pick from. Choose your go-to tangle. This is one of mine. Comes very easily to me and I find it will look nice here. So just adding bigger ones here with lots of auras. Right, so you can also draw it clockwise if you wish, if you are not very comfortable drawing it anti-clockwise. Anyways, is fine, right? So try to bring that overlap effect. Looks nice when you shade. So it's always a good idea to draw behind. For example, this one that I am drawing is going at the back of the other two, right? Right, so take your time and fill up all the sections with tangles of your choice. You can add different tangles, you can add same tangle, right? So I'm going to alternate tipple and Printums here. So this section again I'm going to add tipple. Small, big, all sizes. Tipple will go well with rain, so I thought of bringing it here. You can also draw all of the same size, entirely up to you. How do you want to go about? So I would like to keep a section blank in between, so I'm drawing tipple of all sizes here. So apprentice size tile is a slightly bigger tile generally used with students and takes about the same time as a Zentangle tile, which is a 4.5 inch diameter. So generally takes a little longer to complete, but since it has a bigger space, it's advised to use it for beginners and students attending their first class or small children. So but you have to be aware that it takes a slightly more time because it is a bigger tile, right? So take your time, enjoy. We are practicing a couple of patterns here. I've already drawn, I think, 4 patterns. So since we have more space on an apprentice, we can do that, right? So I'm going to leave the in-between space like that, and I'll continue doing that for all the sections. So again, starting with my printums, big ones, go on and on and on, add more auras than are usually added, draw behind, so I was saying that Zentangle, every tangle looks different to different people, right? So you can interpret it in different ways. They are not supposed to be conveying anything in particular. That's why Zentangle is called an abstract art form. And yet, when you see a tile, different people interpret and find different meanings in the tile. But it is the abstract nature of Zentangle which is the fun factor, because there is no comparison. You can draw whatever you want, and there is nobody to tell you, okay, this doesn't look like a duck, it looks like a donkey, haha, but you never tried to draw a duck, right? So just enjoy, keep it abstract and have fun. So I'll continue like this. So I have done the same exercise for all. I'm on the last section, filling up tipple of different sizes. We'll leave a center patch empty. Optional, up to you. You can fill up the entire section. Since the sections are big enough, so I thought probably leaving a small blank section would look nice. Add that additional depth. So you can see here I'm just squishing in my orbs. I'm not trying to be perfect with my circles. Depending on the spaces that I have, I vary the shape of the orb, and that's the beauty of the pattern tipple. You don't have to worry that these circles have to be perfect. You basically see the space that you have, and then you just squish in the orb. Squeeze your orb in that space, right? So that's why it's called an orb, not supposed to be perfect circle, right? So we are done with drawing and tangling. So let us now straight move on to shading. So I'm going to start with my BB, our focus tangle today. So adding shading, as I told you, at the ends. Right, at the points where lines are going in, coming out. So they are pretty small ones, so be careful that you don't render the entire thing gray. So take your time. Right, so then we go to our changing. So changing, generally we add some graphite here and at the crossings. So adding graphite at the crossing gives it the effect of the lines or the chain intermingling, going under and over. Right, and then moving on to our drawings. So I'm just going to highlight these. Not much of shading required here, it is already pretty decked up. Right, so just yeah, so let us start blending first and then we'll add some more. So I'm just going to, with the light hand, pull the graphite which I have put at the edges towards the center. Make sure that the ink is dry, otherwise you may end up damaging your tile. So shade in such a way that the center is white like a highlight. Only the dark ends are there. Right, so that's about adding shading to our BBs, and then moving on to the drawings. So blend. I think we don't need to add anything to our drawings. It's already pretty decked up. Some here at the beginning from where the lines are emerging. Just going to darken that section. Right, and then moving on to blending our changing. So again the same principle, blend but leave a highlight. So I'm talking about this highlight. So you don't blend so much that you cover the entire section. Right, so those highlights can always be emphasized with the chalk pencil if required, but generally if you've not blended too much, then that highlighting may not be required. Right, so done that exercise. Now let us move on to our other sections. So I'm going to shade my printums as a whole. So again, you can always use your gray watercolor pencil here. I think I may use it to highlight these sections. It will look nice as far as I think. First let me shade with a pencil, right? So I'm going to be adding this throughout, inside, in fact you can do it on both sides of the rain, because you will be shading your tipple in the same fashion, right? So we'll not get into shading each and every tipple, we'll shade the section as a whole. So might be a good idea to add graphite on both sides of the rain, right? So done with that exercise, let us start blending now. So I'm just going to pull the graphite from the edges towards the center, but not cover the entire center. We have already left a gap in the center. So just go slow, take your time. Small sections. Go easy. So just pulling the graphite that I just put on the edges. Just shading my tangle as a whole and not getting into shading each element. So I'm done with the blending, and this is how the tile has come out to be. Now let us use our chalk pencil at a few places. I'm just going to highlight the center a little bit. Right? And then if you wish, you can add some highlight to these sections. But entirely optional. Since we have not turned the entire thing grey, so you can do away with it. But you can also add some white charcoal to highlight it more. Right, so I think we are done with our tile. I don't think we need to highlight these spaces, they are already white. So just a touch if you feel like. Right, so let's close our tile here. If you want, you can add to the inside the gray watercolor pencil, and then you can blend it. Right, so I'm going to close my tile here. So let's add our chalk, right, and then sign and date it. Today is sorry 21. So we'll meet again with another Zentangle original, and till then, have a good time, stay safe, bye bye. I'll come with another new Zentangle original pattern in the next session. Bye bye, see you.